Hello and welcome, everybody. It's 7:03. This meeting can be called to order. I'm gonna do a fun trick, which I just discovered, like now that I'm finally ending my time as the chair, which is, we're supposed to call attendance. We're supposed to like kind of have a formal recognition of who's attending. And every month I make everybody awkwardly say their name. And then I was watching a town council meeting where the town council chair just recognized everyone who was there instead of making everyone go around and be awkward. So I'm going to try doing that. So here at the WHRC meeting on the 17th of May, 7:03 p.m., we've got our newly appointed member, Donna Murphy. Everybody welcome Donna. Donna just got appointed by the town council in one of their meetings in April, I think. And here we are, your first meeting. Excited to have you.
Thank you.
We've got Eileen Rooney, Jeremy Little, Jana Herzog, Sherry Oken, Daniela Nidbalek, Teresa Urbana Gonzalez, and Vanessa. I don't know your last name. Sorry.
Vanessa Westlake.
Vanessa Westlake. Vanessa also is, so we have our newly appointed student member was who I was saying is probably not going to be able to be here. I think she has a rehearsal. And what Principal McLeod did was that she appointed Ashley for this coming year. Ashley's going to be a senior and Vanessa's going to be a senior the following year. So the hope is that Ashley and Vanessa can both be with us this year, which is very exciting. And then Vanessa will be able to continue on with us into her senior year. So Vanessa, I believe the deal is that you will not be officially appointed as a voting member this year, but you can come to all the meetings. You can participate just as much as anybody else does, except for when we vote, you won't be a voting member. Jana also is a liaison. She's not a voting member. There's two other people who often are here, but aren't here at the moment. We have a liaison to the school committee, who, again, same, he's a liaison. He doesn't get to vote, but he does come to the meetings and participate, in discussion and stuff. So it'll be similar to that. So welcome to everyone who's new. Welcome to everyone who's not new. This is exciting. Oh, I forgot to turn the closed captioning on. Sorry. Let me do that now. So this meeting is being recorded, as I'm sure you are already aware. There's subtitles available for the automatic closed captioning if you would like to use them. I think that's it. I like to start with a check-in question. So, except I didn't choose my check-in question yet. What should it be?
How about, as the weather gets warmer and warmer, what are you most looking forward to?
What are you most looking forward to this time of year with the weather? Cool. Do you have an idea, Sherry? Did you say that question with a burning answer in mind?
Yep, I've already started. Gardening and getting into my kayak.
You want to invite someone to go next?
And I'd invite new member Donna to go next.
I have to say gardening also. Thing is just blooming right now.
Yeah.
Between the heat and the rain, it's the perfect time of year.
So Donna, you can also invite whoever you'd like to go next. Pass it along.
How about me?
Sorry, you cut out for a second. Who did you say? Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm here. I enjoy getting our boat out this time of year, and just like the gardens are blooming, the fish are starting to come out of their winter hiding places with a full appetite. So the fish will start biting. The boat will be out. We have a slip up in Danversport, so makes it pretty easy to get on and go. So that's definitely what I look forward to this time of year the most. So among other things, but that's the most. So how about Teresa?
Hi. I really like this time of year to be outside. We just have dinner outside. That's one thing that we do. We just like to eat outside at the table, and that's really nice to do. So, all right, next. Let's see. Vanessa, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm looking forward to going to the beach with my friends. I'm getting my license soon, so I'm looking forward to getting to drive outside. Yana, do you want to go next?
Sure. So right now being a senior is really exciting. So I'm excited for prom and graduation. Eileen, you want to go?
It's like hammock season, like getting the hammock out with a book, hopefully falling asleep in it in the yard. Yeah, I look forward to that. Maybe one more week. It could either be really hot or like really cold, just like one more week, you know. Daniela, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say enjoying the yard. We got the house pretty much on over the land that it came with the pool, so we could garden food, and we have a hammock that we're going to put up together. So yeah, I'm really bored in the winter. How about you, Benny?
Well, let's see. All of your lives sound more exciting than my life. I'm gonna say that I look forward to like not being cold. I'm just a very cold person. So no matter what I do, like I do the same things mostly. Like I bike all winter long and I run in the winter, but I'm just cold the entire time. So I'm looking forward to being able to do those things without being cold. Cool. Thanks, everybody. All right. Public participation. There's no members of the public here. So much for that. I already kind of welcomed our new members. Welcome again. Excited to have you here. Feel free to hop in at any point if you like have a question about what's going on. So there's an agenda that is set ahead of time. Because of the open meeting law, we have to announce the agenda so that members of the public, if they want to come and like participate or make a comment or whatever, they like know what we're going to be talking about. So the agenda is made ahead of time and posted on the town's website. So there's this whole agenda that we go through, and also like, I don't know, it's like semi-informal, you know, we can kind of hop around a little bit. And if you have questions or something's coming up, feel free to like jump in, and we invite you to participate in any way that feels comfortable. So next on the agenda is the exciting task for today's meeting, which is electing our officers. So every year in the May meeting, we elect the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, treasurer. And then those three people hold those offices for the you know, that year, kind of like from June to the following May. The like rules that govern how the HRC operates say that nobody in those leadership positions can hold the same position for like consecutive years. So it's an opportunity for people to take on new responsibilities or new roles within the commission. So I have been the chair for the past year. Jeremy's been the vice chair, and Sherry's been the secretary treasurer. I think what makes the most sense is for us to do those three positions, elect those three positions, starting with the chair. And so first, anyone who likes to can nominate someone. Second, I think there's a discussion period. Third, I probably should have looked up how this is supposed to work. Third, we vote. I don't recall ever doing like a thing where the person being voted on has to like step away for a discussion. I don't remember that happening, but since it's Zoom, we can do breakout rooms. So do you think we should do that? Should we have like a, please go into this breakout room for a minute while we discuss you type of moment?
Do we even have that here? I mean, you may see it on your end.
Yeah, I think because I'm the host, I can do breakout.
Okay.
Yes, I have the power.
I don't remember that last year.
I don't remember it either, but I'm just saying it could be a good practice because if there are any concerns or like thoughts, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Last year, there was no discussion, so there was no need, but I think it's a good idea. As long as we have the facility to do it, the ability, I think we should do it.
Let's see how it goes. Okay, so then starting with the chair, are there any questions about this process or any suggestions or anything like that before we dive in?
Does
It's-
everybody have to be here to vote? Because I know we're missing some people.
Yes, we are missing a couple people. I think like any vote that we take, it has to be a quorum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be advantageous if before each nomination, you describe what the position entails.
Ooh, perfect. And the other thing I'll say, actually, Teresa, I think the more important thing than but it's important for everyone to be here to vote. But the other thing is, I think it's important if we were to want to nominate someone, for example, who isn't here, right? Like that's sort of an important piece of the puzzle. I will say that you all know, I called everyone between last month's meeting and this meeting to kind of explain this process and get a sense of who might have interest in the different positions, explain what they entail, things like that. I will say, so Nicole is not here. Nicole said specifically to me that she doesn't feel like she has the capacity to take on any of the leadership positions. She said she wished she could. She was like, I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, I should do it. And then I was like, I don't think that's possible. So, so let's see, Nicole, Lindsay, similar. Lindsay, I think is like passionate about the HRC and not feeling a strong need to be in leadership. And Elizabeth, do you know, I didn't call Elizabeth, but I also wonder if the clergy member, I suppose she's a voting member. She could be the president. That like literally did not occur to me. I apologize, Elizabeth, if you're watching this meeting after it's been recorded, left you out of my phone calls. But so I'll say that much at least. What else? Okay, great point, Sherry, a description of the positions. Starting with the chair. So the chair certainly is the position that involves the most attention outside of these main monthly meetings. In addition to the same stuff that all HRC members do. So all HRC members, right, are involved in planning events and, you know, making decisions for the HRC and attending meetings and things like that. The chair also has to formulate the agenda every month for the monthly meeting, post the meeting in accordance with open meeting law. There are facilitate these meetings. To be honest, we could actually do that. That's not like specifically stipulated as a responsibility of the chair, but that's what has traditionally been the case, is that the chair chairs the meeting. There are a fair number of responsibilities that fall to the chair in terms of kind of coordinating and communicating on behalf of the HRC. So the HRC has a town email address, for example, so you check the town email address periodically and respond to emails that might be coming in. And so inquiries that are sent generically to the HRC will go to that, and you might have to respond to those inquiries, or communications that are coming in any official capacity will go through the town email. So if, you know, somebody from the town council is looking to get a hold of you to work on some topic that that you're collaborating with the town council on, that those will go, you know, so collaborating with other town bodies, perhaps. A lot of this like really depends on what particular topics or issues come up over the course of the year. So recently, for example, we've been dealing with the flag policy. So I've been in communication with the town council about that a fair amount. Other years, I'm sure it has been other types of topics, you know, that we're in communication with different town bodies about. Like last year, the warrior logo, like meetings were happening. So I think that Maria was involved a fair amount in that, you know, so there's just like different topics that might come up from year to year. But so the chair sort of tends to be involved more in communications and coordination on behalf of the HRC as a body, stuff that might come up between meetings. What else? Occasionally there might be something where the chair is called upon to sort of speak on behalf of the HRC. So like last year at the flag raising, the pride flag raising ceremony, I like said a brief amount of words. So sometimes something like that might happen. It's a little bit of a smorgasbord of like whatever comes up. Yeah. The basic stuff to keep the ship afloat is posting the meetings and making sure that we're not violating the public meeting law. And then I think many of those other responsibilities, there is flexibility around who takes on what, right? So some chairs, like I'm not very good at delegating. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to handle this issue, right? And other chairs might have like better skill in the area of delegation and might be like helping to bring in other members of the commission, like, hey, here's a topic that's coming up. Would you mind helping to like work on this thing? I don't know. Those are some things I have to say about that. Any questions about those responsibilities before we start nominating people?
Do you want to go through all three positions, Benny, before?
Like
Start
describe all
nominating?
three? Maybe that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, I can take the vice chair.
Yeah. Go for it.
Basically, I this year supported Benny behind the scenes when she needed it. If there were topics that come up that are kind of, what do you think about this? You know, is this a position for us to respond to or bring to the committee? Those kinds of things happen. I had the backup password to the email. I think, you know, like basically, if Benny couldn't be at a meeting, I would have led the meeting, right? Like, actually, I wasn't at a lot of meetings lately, but you know, so basically, I don't have all that responsibility that Benny has that falls on her, but I'm here to back her up and sort of, you know, support her behind the scenes as well. So it's kind of, you know, it's like the support staff, right, for Benny. And I think Benny makes a good point that, you know, the chairperson doesn't have to do everything. They can just make sure everything is covered by delegating to others, even those events that, you know, we host. It doesn't have to be our chairperson. It always looks good as the chairperson because the title, you know, like people are looking to the committee and they see that the chairperson is the one giving the remarks on our behalf, but it doesn't have to be, right? Like it's a whole, we're a commission, right? We're a whole group. And as long as things are covered, I think the big thing, like Benny said, is the agenda, but she doesn't have to lead the meeting. Someone else could simply say, you know, here's the meeting agenda, I'm leading the meeting tonight. So I just want to put that out there, and Benny made a good point that if you're thinking about considering doing it and you're worried about all the stuff that goes with it, it's really like a point person for the HRC to make sure things are on task and like that. And then the executive or the vice chair, you know, works directly, but it could be more of a, you know, almost like a co-chair position too, depending on how we want it to be. You know, it's a title in name, but the way it functions, you know, they just work together as a team to make sure things are on track and stuff. So
Thanks, Jeremy. Terry, do you want to describe the secretary treasurer role a little bit?
Actually, I didn't know, other than taking minutes, what my role was. And then as I got into it, I realized that besides taking minutes for the meeting and putting it together in a format that's acceptable and that people can understand and getting it out to all of you on time, that previously there really had not been much involvement with the finances, which means that we never really had a clear understanding of what we were spending, how much money we had, and the like. So I started requesting, and it took a while till they got used to giving it to me. I still have to sometimes request, I forget, monthly finance reports. And as I've explained to you, they don't specify on those reports what we've spent money on. It's just like one big basket, that's it. So this year, and I hope it will be continued, I recently put together a reporting form so we can keep track of where we're spending money, how we're spending money, so we can find the vendors, so we'll know how much we spent in the past if we're reordering items. And also, if it's a big item, we'll know to request that our refund, if we lay money out, comes from one fund or the other, because we get a budget of $1,000, but we currently have a revolving fund that has a balance of $1,170 in it. So if something really big comes up, you may want to take that out of the revolving fund to ensure that we have enough money to come out of our budget. And the next, so what I'm suggesting is not only do you take notes, but you'll keep track. And you'll also keep on the case of the town finance people to make sure they send you those reports. And it's just a matter of keeping track so that we can make projections. And then like last meeting, everyone was saying, well, where did we buy those things before? No one could remember. We will have that particular information at our fingertips. So it's an organizational position. You do not go to you don't go to extra meetings, but you do spend some time, like I said, formatting the minutes and trying to make sense of the finances and going forward. And I'd be very happy to help whoever goes into that position, trying to get into place some real good financial control so we have a better handle on what we spend, where we spend it, and how much money we have for special things. So the role is pretty much what you expect it to be.
All right. Any questions about any of those? More information that anybody would like to have? Okay. Now we shall commence the nominations. Is there anybody who would like to nominate anybody to be the chair of the HRC? I have a nomination I would like to make. Wait, go ahead, Teresa.
Oh no, I was gonna say I feel weird like putting stuff because I don't know if people feel like they really want to. You know what I mean? So not knowing, I don't want to put people on the spot and they'll be like, oh my God, why you say my name? But I don't know. So that's what I'm like, But I did want to say Eileen, but I don't know if she wants to.
I second that nomination for
Eileen, you done been nominated.
I'm sorry,
My
Eileen,
wife
I
is
don't know if
gonna
you wanted
kill
to.
you. My wife is going.
Oh, so she
to
wants
kill
you to be.
Teresa.
See? Ah, that's good. I'm glad I'm not alone. All right. I don't feel that bad.
So, I don't know. How does this work? Eileen, do you accept? I think you're allowed to decline.
Feels super weird to be nominated by two people and then decline. So I accept.
Yay!
Was that weirdly tentative? It was a little weirdly tentative, wasn't it?
I can understand that.
The pressure got you.
Oof.
Well, perhaps we should discuss.
So are there any other nominations?
Yeah, are there any other nominations?
I was gonna nominate Jeremy.
Yeah, and I was gonna second that.
Yeah, I talked to Benny about this, and I think I would rather pay more attention to all the other stuff and help you guys out. Because I think you guys, I personally think, Eileen, that you're a much better choice than me, and I'm here to help you in the background. So I'm gonna respectfully decline it. So if that's okay, and know that I'll be committed to help everybody in the roles, because I think there's some people who are in here that are timid because they don't think they're ready for it, but they really are. So that's kind of my discussion point and my answer. So
All right. Any other nominations? Okay, cool. So should we do this thing? Eileen, should I put you in a breakout room? Let's make it even weirder than it already is.
Riley.
Just make it as weird as possible. Let's do it.
But would we go in the breakout room? Because
No, just me by myself.
so that she can watch what we say later.
All right.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Oh, I
It's
totally
recorded.
did not think about that.
Not really private.
Should I jump off and then jump back on?
And
I
then
mean,
promise
it'll be
to
the
never
same.
watch.
Yeah, right. It's recorded. I mean, it is a public meeting, right? We don't have executive
Yeah.
session. I don't think, like, we can evoke executive session, but like, not really I don't think so. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put you in another room, Eileen. And you can come back and watch what we say later if you want to.
Fine.
Bye. Options. Allow participant to return to the main session at any time. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in the breakout room and then send you a message when we're ready and you can come back.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I think she's going. Okay, there it goes.
Oh yeah, it looked frozen for a minute.
So, discussion.
I have no objections. I think she'd be a great fit, great role for her to play, and yeah, I'm glad someone nominated her and put her on the
Yeah.
spot. I don't know
Yeah.
if she would have said yes if we didn't do that, if we didn't double down.
I know.
Did she have hesitations, Benny? I mean, all of us did, I'm
Good.
sure. Did she have hesitations?
Yeah, I will say that of all the people I spoke to, there was no one who was like, I'm totally down, let's do it. Everybody was either like, no, please no, or kind of like, I'm not sure about this idea. So, and Eileen was more in that second category, which then if you grade it on a curve is like totally enthusiastic.
Mhm. I think that the point that was made that the vice chair can almost serve as a co-chair would make the whole position very much more attractive, because you did take on so
Yeah.
much this year and had to go to so many meetings. And I know I watched that and I said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or energy to do that many extra meetings. But if there's if it's a co-chair kind of position, I just hope whoever it is that we choose for vice chair will fully support Eileen so she's not out there by herself.
yeah, I think not only Benny, but Maria before Benny took on a ton too. Like since
Yes.
I've been on the HRC,
Right.
you know, the two chair people have done so much. So I
Yeah,
applaud
good
you,
point.
Benny. I wasn't here last month to applaud Maria, but I will, you know, follow up with her separately. But yeah, I think it's a good point that it doesn't have to be a one person show for everything. You know, it is really a team effort. And even with the secretary treasurer, there's no reason they can't, you know, I mean, you have a lot on your plate as it is with secretary treasurer, but again, it's the officers. It's not just one, right? So,
Mhm.
but I think Eileen will do a fabulous job. I know, like, since the day she started coming to our meetings as
Right.
not even as a member, you know, just a member of the
Volunteer.
public.
Right.
That's
She's
right.
been engaged and she's very creative and smart and
Mhm.
witty. So, and driven to the cause. So that's why I don't even want to be considered to run against her. So I think, you know, I think she's perfect for where we are. So
So let's invite her back in.
Cool. Okay, let's see.
Or do we, it's an open vote, right?
Yeah, I think she participates in the vote.
Yeah, because she can vote for herself. So,
Yeah.
Oh, she can?
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think I view the vice chair as like a partnership.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Sherry.
Yeah, and I think it's good to model that too, because like you said, like,
Mm.
I think it sends kind of as much as, a chair tries to do what's best for the commission. I do think that kind of taking on so much isn't necessarily the best thing for the group, because you do want to like distribute like the learning, and that you don't want like everything to exist only in one person's head and all this kind of stuff, so. The other thing I'll say is that I'm still going to be here. I have one more year in my term, so I'll be here next year too. Which, and I'm happy to like lend support and like, what's the word? Like with
Mentor.
them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. I sent her a message telling her to come back, but she didn't come back. So I'm just going to close her breakout room.
Yeah, I think you have to allow her to.
Yeah, I did. I checked off the box that like
Oh.
allowed her to rejoin if she wanted to, but
She left.
yeah, maybe
She
went
ditched
to-
us. Maybe the breakout room's not a good idea. She ditched us.
She's
She
like,
just
oh,
ran
here
away.
she comes.
Oh no, here she is. Hello.
What if I just stayed in there for the full 59 seconds?
Well,
There's like-
I know.
Just like, wait.
We thought you went to get a sandwich.
I know. We're like, she left.
Charlie's on Maine, I don't know.
I know.
All right, so we're gonna vote. You get to participate in the vote, Eileen. It's an open vote, so we'll go around and do a official kind of roll call vote. So I will call on each of you who are a voting member and ask you. Actually, no, we need a motion, I think.
I will make a motion. I make a motion to nominate and elect Eileen Rooney as the new chairperson of the HRC.
Is there a second?
I second.
Fabulous. Okay, so voting on the motion. Sherry, how do you vote?
Yes,
Teresa?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Daniela?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Eileen? Here's the big question.
All right, yes.
I also vote yes.
Yay.
Unanimous. Congratulations.
Congrats, Eileen.
man. Oh, man.
You get to run the rest of the meeting.
I
Yeah,
know.
well, we could, so
I
it's
was
funny. if
worried
you-
I'm
about-
kidding.
That's
I'm
what I
kidding.
was worried about.
No, we don't have to do that. Although I was interested to find out that when I watched the town council meeting, they did this whole thing where they like stand up and switch seats and sit back down. And then Maureen like conducted the rest of the meeting after that. I was like, wow, there's like some ritual involved here. We don't have to do that though. You can just pick up next week. What do you call it, next month?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I really have to pay attention, Benny, and like take notes on what you're doing. So I'm on it. I'm there.
I'll have a little like orientation with you. That's what Maria did with me, sort of like give you some information about like what to do and whatever.
And Eileen, you didn't hear, but Benny made a comment that she's still around for another year. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're going to be left high and dry. You have a mentor on the council, on the commission still. So
You're gonna do great. I'm thrilled. Okay, then, vice chair, same game. Are there any nominations?
I would be willing to serve with Eileen and be a true partner with her.
Self-nomination. Any other nominations? Uh-oh.
Okay. She
We
left.
can have meetings
Eileen
over the
quit.
fence because we're neighbors.
Well,
All right.
how dramatic.
Oh, she's
And
back.
I meant that from the bottom of my heart, that I would be honored to serve with you and to support you fully, so you don't feel like you're just out there by yourself.
I would never feel that way. I feel like this is a good group, just to be clear. I'm not worried.
Good.
All righty.
Who else wants this
I feel
position?
like
Make it a
Daniela
horse
must be
race.
having connectivity issues because she,
I know. I think she
Wow.
keeps dropping,
yeah.
coming in and out.
So, any other nominations? Do it, Jeremy. What are you thinking?
No, I'm just watching Teresa's face.
I'm like, if I sit still,
I
I don't move.
no,
Oh.
I actually had two people down. I had Sherry and I had Teresa, but I'm not sure if Teresa wants to, or if I should just wait till next year and keep her on my list, because she's around for
My
another
list.
year too. So
And there's another position available still, Secretary Treasurer too.
I will say yes. That's true. Yeah. So the Secretary Treasurer.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was going to say something about a different topic. Daniela texted me and says this, yes, she is having Wi-Fi issues. Let me just see. Because she said she was trying to like say something, but then kept getting
Oh,
dropped.
she's
So I
not.
feel bad about continuing on without her if she wanted to participate in this.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, so that wasn't really a nomination, Jeremy. What are you doing here? No? Oh, you are muted, Jeremy.
I think I was testing the waters to see what Teresa's reaction would be, and I didn't get any reaction. She didn't show her cards either way. So I'm gonna throw Teresa's name out as a nomination. So.
Daniela, I know that you are having connectivity issues, but feel free, if you can, to jump in.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna just try to keep my camera off until we get through this next agenda point, because I'm gonna probably have to restart my router. What did I miss though? So was it just Teresa that just got nominated?
Sherry got nominated, and then I think Teresa just got nominated.
Okay. I was gonna throw my hat in the ring only because of my hearing. It's a little bit harder for me to do the secretary role, but I think Teresa is a great candidate, and she's been with the HRC for a while now, so I would second that as well.
So does that mean that 3 people are nominated?
I think right now we've got Sharon, we've got Teresa, and then Daniela said that she was gonna throw her hat in the ring, but she decided not to. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I would put Teresa over myself. So
Oh, no.
if she wants to do it, then I would
Don't do
say
that. If
she's
you want
a
to
better
do it.
candidate.
Wait, so if
Well, yeah, so you have the option to decline, Teresa. You don't have to be like considered for a position that you don't want. So what are your thoughts?
No, my thought, obviously, I know I feel great with this group and very supportive and everything. I think I feel the same way I think everybody else does, in the sense that I feel like there's so much that has to happen or that it gets done, or I see so much going on that I know obviously that I'm afraid that, I'm not going to be able to support like 100%, but I know the co-chair is not the lead. So I do feel a little less pressure about that. And I would love to work with Eileen. I know she's great. So I think, and I would, obviously it's a group, right? It's not just 2 people running a show. So I think it's, yeah, no, I mean, I'll accept the nomination, but I think it's whatever the group wants, that's what I'll do.
How about you, Sherry? Do you want to say any words? Oh, you're muted.
As I said before, I would be honored to serve with Eileen and would support her fully in every way possible.
Okay, now it's juicy. We have 2 nominees.
Oh, God, so
Send us away.
Yes, I shall. I
Um,
shall. Okay, let's see. Breakout room.
Oh, you have to make a motion first, or?
mm,
Oh, yeah. I'm so bad at this, you guys. I guess so, because the discussion comes after the motion. We kind of did it backwards last time.
Mhm.
Well,
So
how
what-
can you make a motion if we don't discuss what decision the group wants to do? Or does someone just make the motion and that's what we discuss?
Yeah, exactly. You make the motion and then there's discussion and then the vote.
And it just has to read that the motion was made to nominate and elect either or as vice chair. That's all it has to say.
So I second Sherry's motion because she just basically made the motion. So I seconded.
Okay. I am sending you both to a breakout room. And I will call you back when we're ready, okay?
okay.
So are they in the same breakout room?
Yes,
Like they can discuss amongst themselves now?
I guess so.
They can fight it out?
Yeah, maybe only one of them will come back. Okay, everybody, what are your thoughts?
I think Teresa would be a great candidate for the role. She's very mindful of what's happening, and she seems like she really cares about everything that we're doing. And I think that her and Eileen, the chemistry, they would get along very well and collaborate. And that's really what we're also voting for, is this partnership, right? And we should probably think about like how that is going to play out. But I think when I first joined, I thought Teresa would have been a good candidate, and I think her hat was thrown into the ring last year, and maybe at the time she was too busy. So now that she's accepting it, that's why I'm kind of like, yeah, she's thought about it before, and now it's time, or now she can make the time, or she feels more supported now. So I think that it just kind of makes sense to me.
I'm actually torn because Sherry brings in a lot of historical knowledge on the HRC, and has really dug into some things, including our training modules and all that stuff, right? Like for the new members. And so it's tough because I know she comes in with a lot of knowledge, but I tend to agree. I wouldn't have nominated Teresa if I didn't think she has the passion to really spark between her and Eileen, to really spark us as leaders. So I'm really torn. Like yeah, I'm torn. I don't know which way I'll lean, but no pun intended there. But but I think yeah, I think Teresa's a pretty good candidate. So
I'm torn a little bit too. I think they're both fantastic. I will probably lean on a co-chair more than maybe Benny did, just based with thinking about like family activities and things like that. And I see both of them being like great partners in that way, right? Where I'd be able to say like, I'm stuck at a baseball field in Wilmington. I'm going to try my hardest to get there, right? That kind of thing. I have worked with Teresa probably more than Sherry, and so I feel like she and I have worked well together in IWD stuff and, you know, throwback to before I was even on the committee. So I do feel like I have a little more experience with her, but either would be phenomenal. And the support that Sherry has given all of us over the past year too, when it comes to sort of keeping us on track with meeting minutes and financials and things like that, have been super helpful. So I don't know if I'm helping you. I'm just giving everyone options in both ways, but I think Teresa and I have probably worked more together, and I know that the chemistry is good.
Go ahead, Donna.
Ben,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you said at the beginning. Can the secretary serve 2 years in a row, or does each position have to change?
Yeah, each of the positions have to change.
Okay.
Yeah, the one thing that's on my mind in terms of something that is different between the two of them is that Sherry nominated herself and seems like really you know, kind of like gung-ho about it. And Teresa, I think, would be awesome. And also, like, you know, I think that she is nervous about maybe the time commitment is mostly what I heard. So, you know.
So how do we tease it out? We bring them both back in and then we vote, like,
You know, I was just thinking this to myself. I don't 100% actually know what the procedure is. So, because would we vote twice, like once for Sherry, once for Teresa, and then whoever gets the most votes gets it? Or do we? I don't know. Or do we each only get to vote for one of them?
I think we might have to vote for only one of them.
I think maybe let's bring them back in the room because they also get to vote. So let's include them in the conversation about like the actual mechanics of the vote. Hold on, let me close the room. All right, they'll be coming back in a moment. Yeah. This is one thing that a chair could do if they wanted to, is actually learn the rules for how these things are supposed to work. I never did that, but it's been okay so far.
We thought you threw us both off the commission.
No, you have not been
So-
voted off the island.
Okay.
But we are wondering, okay, so logistically, how do we conduct a vote like this? Do we each vote on Sherry's nomination and then each vote on Teresa's nomination and then whoever gets the most votes? Or is it like each of us can only vote for one of you? Is it ranked choice voting? How do we do this? And I don't know the answer, so I literally would like some ideas.
Would you do just like the town does? Everybody gets to vote for one person.
Is that how the town does it? Then that's probably what we should do.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll go around and each person will say the person that they want to vote for, and then we'll count them.
And I'll just keep a tally as the.
Yeah. Gosh, okay, hold on. I need a moment. I need to decide. This is tough. You guys made it tough. Okay. Do people feel ready? Alrighty. I'm going to start with you, Jeremy.
I don't know. Oy.
Hey, both of us are we will not take revenge on you.
No, I know.
No,
We are not
no, no,
thin-skinned people.
please,
Don't worry.
please don't,
We will
don't
not
worry
take it
about
as
it at all.
personal. This is strictly for the
I'm-
good of the commission.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Sherry.
Let's see. How about you, Eileen?
Carrie knows where I live. I'm just saying. So
It's gonna come and egg
there's
your house.
that.
We share a fence.
We do,
Oh,
we share
wow.
a fence. I love you both equally. I just want to say that. I'm gonna vote for Teresa.
Daniela, how about you?
Teresa.
Who we got here? Donna.
I'm gonna vote for Sherry, and no offense, Teresa, but I
No,
don't know you, so I know how organized Sherry is, so I would vote for her.
How about you, Teresa? Who do you vote for? This is an
I'll-
interesting question.
I'll vote for Sherry.
Oh, damn. Sherry, who do you vote for?
I was gonna vote for Teresa.
Nice.
Okay, it's even now.
Yes.
Keep going.
Wait, does that mean I have the tie-breaking vote?
I think you do.
Oh my God. I went last so that I would know who to vote for.
Yeah.
Oh dear. We don't have more people. Everyone has voted? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because
We're missing people.
yeah, Nicole,
Right.
Okay. Okay, Benny, your tiebreaker.
okay, I'm gonna vote for Sherry.
I would have expected Teresa to win. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's
I
good.
appreciate it. Okay.
And now moving on to the congratulations, Sherry.
Yeah, congrats.
We're
Okay.
excited.
You can clap. Like so used to not clapping.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
It's like,
Teresa, you're going to be the chair of the Hispanic Heritage coming up in October.
oh
just gonna
yeah,
be-
no,
I'm just
not
going to be
worried
behind the
about
scenes
it.
person.
Oh my gosh. So, and the last is the secretary treasurer. And let's see. Sherry can't do it a second time, as we've already talked about. Oh
I'd
yeah,
like
go
to-
ahead.
I'd like to nominate Teresa, though.
Oh my goodness.
Teresa.
Yes, I would.
Oh, sure. You haven't seen my notes.
You can't take good notes.
Oh God, I'm horrible.
Well, you can decline then if you feel uncomfortable.
Teresa, I can help you make them look fancy and nice after the meetings if you want.
Oh my God. I was the secretary of the PTO for Ben's school, so I can tell you.
Well, so you have experience.
Oh no. I don't think they'll agree. I try though. Yeah.
So can we also nominate Jeremy and Benny for secretary? Okay.
Yeah, you just can't be in the same position twice in a row.
Mhm. Oh, that's right.
So Teresa, you are allowed to decline. Do you accept or do you decline?
I will decline for
Oh.
the group, better of the group, believe me.
For the greater good.
Yeah, this is a good thing.
Okay, well, so who else?
In that case, I changed my nomination to Jeremy since he said he knows how to get notes in good order.
You did this to yourself, Jeremy. You did this to yourself.
Good.
No, I'm not good at notes. I just said I could make them look pretty afterwards. So I honestly, like, I will not be a good note taker. Seriously,
Mhm.
I have head scratch. I suspect there's someone better, like, than myself. So
This is painful, you guys. I've already been the secretary.
I know you have 2 years ago, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I know Daniela expressed concern with being able to hear the meetings, even with closed caption. Donna, I know you're brand new.
Oh, I love this plan.
It would not be a heavy
Fine, I don't
lift.
feel not ready for that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I have some other things going on, so I'd have to thank you, but I decline.
I will say, well, I don't know how your experience was, Sherry, that being the secretary for me did not involve outside work. Although now you have the treasurer thing that's like a little bit more perhaps.
Mhm. But it's not a lot.
Could
It's
we
not a
split
lot.
up the secretary role? Like,
Yeah, so okay, this is a great question. I reached out to the town to ask about that because the document that governs how we function says that they're one role, but I was like, in a case where it's necessary or important to the commission, could we split it up? And they just never responded to me. So we could go rogue and just do that, or not.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Diana.
For the council, we call it the clerk, but each meeting we have a new one because we were in the same situation that like people would want to try it out, but also like it was like a commitment, and it's like I don't know. So then now each meeting we elect a new clerk, and they do it for that meeting, and
Oh.
honestly, that's working pretty well.
Hmm.
And then we had like a guideline to like, okay, this is how the notes go, and it's like I did it like 4 times. So honestly, like pretty easy. Like it's pretty easy to like once you do like start, like then it's pretty easy to get going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just have a split screen going and I take notes as you're speaking. And then after the meeting, I format them so that they make more sense and send them off to Benny. That's what the
Because-
secretary does. That's the sum total of the secretary part. The
Yeah, 'cause
treasurer- Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem doing the treasurer part. I just don't want to do the secretary part. So if there's a way we can do treasurer, quote unquote secretary, but the secretary makes sure someone just is assigned to take notes at each meeting, I don't have a problem doing that. You know what I mean? So if that's a compromise that works, that's just my gut feeling, but
I feel like we can make something work.
I love Yana's idea. Like if there's a way for us to every meeting, and maybe we assign it ahead of time so people sort of know, like every
mean,
meeting someone else takes notes.
yeah, I mean, my thought would be that Eileen and I could just, I mean, if we want to do it this way, Eileen and I could just get together before a meeting and, you know, ask somebody to take notes that's going to be there, and then, you know, just try it that way. So, I don't know.
Yeah. What do people think?
I like that idea.
Let's
Second.
do it. Or maybe we should have a motion.
Wait, can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
The motion is to nominate everyone to be the secretary, essentially, for all of the meetings going forward, and someone specific to be a treasurer.
What I was thinking is that the motion could be to nominate someone to be the secretary treasurer and to empower that person to like call upon a volunteer each month to help with
Oh,
the
okay.
note taking, something like that.
Mhm. That makes sense.
In that case, I again nominate Jeremy.
What say you, Jeremy?
No, I will, as long as I can delegate someone to take the notes for the meetings, I have no problem doing that. And, you know that it falls on me. If nobody's lined up, then I have to take them. So, you know,
Mhm.
so.
That being said, I was going to nominate Daniela because I think maybe Daniela, do you have interest in that?
Yeah, I have a background in finance, so I think that I was the one who prompted Benny to ask the question if we could split the roles, because I was like, I don't really want to take notes. I do take good notes, but that's if like I can hear everything. And then sometimes I write down a sentence and it's definitely not what was said, and sometimes it rhymes, and sometimes it's like, where did she even get that? So since it's all public record, but yeah, I'd be open to it.
All right. Dueling nominations.
So if there's no other nominations, I'll save you the trouble of the breakout room, and I'll withdraw my name and let Daniela have the role. It's fine with me. I have no issues with it.
All right, well, let's do the breakout room anyway, like same as we did with Eileen. I'll send you away, Daniela, and we can discuss. Where are you, Daniela? Okay, here we go. Alrighty, discussion.
So Daniela will not be taking any notes at all. Will she be reviewing the notes for the person who does it in a particular month? Is that how this is going to work?
I don't know, that's a good question because, again, I mean, I think the same question might come into play because of her hearing impairment, that like reviewing the notes, taking the notes, I'm sure she would be like supportive and helpful, but possibly not necessarily like a check for accuracy. And I also think anybody who's taking notes, any of us would be a good secretary, as much as you think you're not good at taking notes, like, it can be basic. We've had when I was my first year on the commission, the person who was taking notes just took like handwritten notes, and typed up a couple of fairly brief sentences and sent it around, and it was like NBD. So.
And you did all bullet points.
I did mostly bullet points. I also type in like stream of consciousness, so it's lots of like half-written sentences and stuff.
And
so,
I'm obsessive about outlining.
yeah, exactly.
So,
As long as the information is there and people can request it from the town if they really want to read our notes, then we've done our job.
that was the only question I had. If Daniela is interested, and since we don't have other interested candidates, she's it.
Yeah,
And
and
I
she
will-
does. I'm excited about the finance piece of it
Yes,
because I think
Yeah.
she'll be very organized about the treasurer situation.
and you also have to just keep on people, because people forget that. Like, I know I'm going to have an expenditure. It's not going to be that big, but I'm going to report to her first. I think we all should do that, like report to the treasurer and say, this is the expenditure. Which account should I have it taken out of? And that way things stay straight.
Yeah, and you can CC her on your email to the
Yeah.
To Sherry to get Sherry Dalton to get the reimbursement process and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Is our discussion over? Anybody else? Other thoughts? All right, I'm gonna call her back then. This is great, guys. We're doing it. We're moving through.
And it's already 8:05.
We're doing great. All right, Daniela, welcome back. We shall now vote on the motion, which is to elect Daniela as our secretary treasurer and empower her to enlist a volunteer to take notes, at each meeting. So, Jeremy, what do you say?
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes,
Donna,
Yes.
Daniela,
I almost said no out of fun, but yes.
who would have outvoted you anyway? I say yes. Okay, fantastic. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk about related to kind of roles on the HRC, although it's not a official officer role, which is our social media account, our Facebook account. So right now, Maria and I are the administrators, but Maria is no longer on the HRC. So I think it would be good to have someone else also as a second person on the Facebook account, because as many of you already probably know, you emailed me to be like, hey, can you make this Facebook post? And then 5 days later, I'm like, I'm really sorry, I didn't see your email, because I'm a little bit of a mess. So having more than one person, I think, is helpful. And also having someone who's not like a Facebook hermit running the Facebook page would be probably smart. I did not talk to anybody about this ahead of time, but I am actually wondering, Daniela, if you would be interested in being involved, because you're like on top of that shit.
Yeah, and maybe like people can just email me directly, because I check my email pretty regularly for a millennial. It's quite impressive.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm pretty aware, or not aware, but like familiar with the platform. So I wouldn't mind helping that load. I know that can be a lot, especially when it's like all these posts, say, for example, for Pride Month.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, and we should be doing lots of, like in theory, we're supposed to be posting 3 times a week, which during some months we have like tons of posts going out. And then during other months, it's like, does the HRC exist? Who knows? So having like more, I don't even know, just like, yeah, like you said, someone who's more present on the platform would be helpful. So
I think it would be good if when we have a post, we send it to both of you, and then whichever one of you sees it first and confirms, replies all, that I will take care of it. And that way, whoever's most available can do it.
Yeah.
And it divides up the effort.
The only thing I had a question to that, and that was not related to this position, but just in general, when something happens, say a shooting or something big that is impactful to a community, we already have that statement, right? To just post out there. So we could say something on social when those situations happen.
exactly. Yeah, we have the boilerplate, which I can share with you. And it's just like a statement with blanks, and you put like the name of the incident or whatever, and it's very straightforward. Yep. Hey, Emma.
Hello, sorry I'm late. I was having trouble with the Zoom link.
Oh no, bummer. Well, I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We just did the election of our officers. Okay, now on to approval of the minutes. We have to also, per public meeting law, we have to approve the minutes before officially sending them to the town to become part of the public record. So that's why we do this really fun activity that we're about to do now. First is the meeting minutes from our HRC meeting from last month, April 19th, 2022. Did anybody have any edits or changes of any kind to make to those minutes that Sherry had sent out?
Yes.
Tell me.
So there's 2 points. One is that the Black Student Union is planning a picnic for Juneteenth, and there was a question of whether we want to collaborate, but there was no resolution. I don't know if that was just an open question for us to have an action item to figure that out this meeting. But then the action item just kind of like right after it was about Nicole and the Juneteenth Association and the money that we had approved. So it's like we have this question that I feel like we either didn't answer, need to answer. The second is that we need to make an amendment to item D2 about the language diversity initiative. It's not sunset, it's just changing from an infographic-based effort to panel organizations, as stated in item D1, which contradicts D2. So we just need to take out D2.
Okay, but let me get that straight. So delete D2 and indicate that it's changing from an infographic.
Oh, you already have that. You have that listed in D1. And then D2 says that the initiative is like no longer. So they just contradict each other, but D1's correct.
Okay. On the one with the picnic, I don't think that anyone was assigned responsibility for follow-up. That's why it didn't come out as an action item.
Yeah, I think it was maybe what's the word? Unofficial. I think Nicole would, because Nicole's daughter is the co-chair or something like that of the BSU. And so I think she was like, I don't know, let me ask Anya. And then it became a little bit just like informal. And she actually sent me a text while we've been meeting with an update about the Juneteenth picnic. So yeah, I don't know that there was like a super formal action item that came out of it. That's my vague memory.
Now, here's a procedural matter too. Benny, are you gonna make that change before you send the packet of minutes off to Sherry? Or do I need to make the change? Just deleting that particular item, D2? Because I don't think there's ever been a change before.
Yeah, not in the middle. Sometimes people will send a change like prior to the meeting, but let me do it. Yeah, because usually what happens is after the meeting, I send all the approved minutes to the town. So I can do that before.
Okay,
Could I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes after the edit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the inclusion of that edit, yeah.
Okay. Then I motion to approve the minutes from our last month's meeting after D2 line is deleted from the language diversity going forward section.
Second,
All right, so let's vote on that. Eileen, how do you vote?
yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Sherry,
yes.
Donna. Oh, no, you weren't here. You're not allowed to vote. Sorry.
Correct.
Getting ahead of myself. Daniela.
Yes.
Jeremy also was not here. Emma, I can't remember if you were here last month or not.
I don't think I was. I think I was on college.
Yeah. Okay, and I also vote yes. So we are good for last month's HRC meeting minutes. Next are the Pride Subcommittee minutes. So for subcommittee minutes, we also have to approve them in our general meeting, but only the members of the subcommittee who were present in those subcommittee meetings get to vote on them. And we can vote on them in a lump. So that's what we tend to do. So for Pride, there was a meeting on May 2nd and a meeting on May 13th. Are there any changes to either of those sets of notes, Eileen or Daniela? Great. You want to make any motions relating to that?
I motion that we approve the Pride subcommittee meeting notes from May 2nd and May 13th.
Second,
Fabulous. Eileen, how do you vote?
yes.
Daniela?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. And Lindsay was at the May 2nd meeting, but, or no, she was at the May 13th meeting, but she's not here now, so that's okay. We have enough votes. Okay, next is the APAH subcommittee meeting minutes. We have one on April 27th and one on May 6th. And so that is what Sherry and Donna, the two of you are in those meetings?
Yes, but Emma also.
And Emma, okay, yes.
Okay, but Donna was not at the very first one, so you can't do it as a lump because Emma and I can vote on the first and the second, and Donna can vote on the second because she was official by the second meeting.
Okay. Any changes to be made to any of those notes? Hearing none, then does one of you want to make a motion, I guess, first for the April 27th one?
Sure. I make a motion to approve the April 27th APH meeting.
Sherry, I think you'll have to second that one.
Okay, I second it.
Fabulous. Emma, how do you vote on that?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes,
Fabulous. And now the May 6th one.
Donna, why don't you make the motion?
So I make a motion to accept the minutes as read for May 6th.
Yes, May 6th.
I second that.
All right, Donna, how do you vote on that one? I didn't hear. Donna, how do you vote on that motion?
Yes, I said, sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry, it's a little choppy. Thank you. Emma?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes,
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for that. Okay, next, speaking of APAH, do you all want to give us an update on what all is going on?
whoa, well, our committee didn't have very much time to pull it together, but an awful lot is going on. It's this Saturday. And I want to precede this by saying we're going to have a table set up for the WHRC, so you can actually promote your June events and also sell haters, no homeless signs. But other commissioners that are not on this committee will need to staff that table. Plus, we just really would love to have you there to support us. We have been lent some pretty valuable items to display by the Japanese consulate, by Marine's family, from a member of the community who has musical instruments, from my own collection of items from when I was in the Peace Corps in Malaysia, and other things. And we just would like to have eyes in the room to make sure nobody, touches things or takes things, because these are valuable and people are trusting us. So I am pleading with all of you to please come and support us and work out some sort of staffing for selling signs and advertising your Pride events, because this is a perfect time to advertise your Pride events, just the month in advance. It's from 1 to 4 on Saturday. Work in shifts, but come up with something, please. And again, I would really appreciate anyone who would just be a volunteer, like I said, just sort of a monitor, eyes on the room kind of person as well. Plus, I think you'll enjoy it. The Japanese consulate has lent us some beautiful things. Marines, I could not believe the things that Marine's family put together. Like I said, I have items from Malaysia. We have a whole collection of Asian flutes. Senator Wong is going to do a demonstration. He wanted to do it and he volunteered, and he is. We're going to have a lesson on how to do Aboriginal Taiwanese dance. We're going to have the big interactive map display, and Jeopardy has been turned into an Asian Pacific American Jeopardy game. So, it's going to be quite a lot going on from 1 to 4, and we still have, what do you call it? Something in the fire. What's the word?
Irons in the fire.
Irons in the fire. I have been in touch with a lot of different cultural organizations. Some call back, some do not. The Armenian Cultural Center is still discussing the museum, whether they're going to lend us anything or send people to entertain us. They're still discussing it. We've been talking for 2 weeks. The people at Japan Consulate, who are fantastic, are looking for someone who isn't already doing an origami demonstration to come and make origami during that day. And here's the icing on the cake. It's going to be 92 degrees on Saturday. We're going to be in an air-conditioned room. We're going to be at the Heritage Room. It's air-conditioned. So please come out, and please among yourselves arrange who is going to stay, because I have the tablecloth, staff that HRC table, sell signs, give the money to Daniela because she's the new treasurer and she'll make the deposit, or I'll grab the money and give it to Daniela or whatever. But please do help us. The other thing I learned in dealing with the AmeriCal, besides the fact that Dan McGrath is just a fabulous guy, I'm meeting with him again tomorrow to figure out how to safely display the map display and the pins, in the room and the space that we have. But the AmeriCal Center is much loved and much used, and they are already starting to fill up availability through the fall. So for instance, Hispanic Heritage, you want to do something indoors because we may not be blessed with the kind of weather we had last year on that magical night on the outside of the library. If you want to book for the AmeriCal Center and you want the gymnasium, or even the Heritage Room, I couldn't even get the gymnasium, it's time to book. You have to think ahead. So if there's any fall event coming up, you need to talk to Dan McGrath months in advance, and he'll put you on the calendar. The other thing about Dan, he has his own digital display board. I've been sending things to Jen McDonald at the town, and she puts it up on, there's a special form. I've sent it all to you, a link that you make out. It looks like it's going to Sherry Dalton, and magically your items show up on the digital display and in town kiosk. Dan has his own. So if you want something advertised at the AmeriCal Center to reach kids and their parents and people who play pickleball and things like that, you send it to Dan McGrath and he will put it up on his digital display as well. So here's the good news. And like I said, please help. I really need some more help on this. I have 2 community members, one who has COVID right now, who's volunteering. I have Donna and Emma helping me. And one community member who I know will be there because he's one of the people who's doing our interactive kind of program. But, you know, it needs to be more than just me on site that day.
So
So-
who is planning on being there? I'm gonna be there, but I have another obligation that ends at 1, so I won't get there right at 1. I'll get there a little bit after 1.
Yeah, anytime, but believe me, not many people will be there right at 1.
Yeah.
So,
Barry,
Um,
I'm happy to comment from 1 to 2 if that's helpful.
that would be great. And you'll be at the HRC table?
Yeah, would that be helpful? You
Yeah,
can use.
I don't know where the
if you want.
signs are. Does anyone know where the signs are?
Oh, they're at Maria's house.
Oh, I picked up a lot of stuff from Marie's house. She didn't tell me she had the signs too.
Yeah, I know that. I thought that was, you mentioned that the other day that you had picked up stuff, and then she texted me today and was like, hey, the Hate Have No Home signs are still at my house. And I was like, oh, okay. So
I can be there for some of it. I don't know what time slot you need, so
How about 3 to 4?
sure, as long as I don't have to help you clean up.
No. I have things I gotta pack very carefully. So I have Eileen 1 to 2, and I have Benny from what?
yeah, I can do 1:30 to whatever, something like that.
1:30 to like 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be great. Donna, you're still trying to clear your schedule. Emma, are you gonna be there, I hope?
Yes, I can help set up and stay until whenever you need me. So
How about hosting Jeopardy since it's your game?
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay,
Teresa, were you trying to say something?
I was gonna say I can help with the setup like earlier because I have something else at 1, but I can go if you need it, or if you need to bring stuff or anything like that.
well, I'm
before.
gonna be parking in the back lot at noon to bring.
Okay, you want me to meet you there?
If you meet me there, you can help me
Yeah.
carry things in. Reed will much appreciate it because he won't have to come
Yeah.
at meetings.
All right, I'll meet
Oh.
you at noon then.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah, and you're really good at helping set up. And of course, Dan is great at setting up. And excellent. Oh, thank you so very much.
Yes.
And anyone else who feels like they can put in an hour during that afternoon, please let me know. Because I will feel much more comfortable if I have people that I know and love and trust with me in the room.
So Sherry, what should we do about the signs? Do you want to pick those up from Maria? Or do you want one of us to pick them up?
Could one of you pick them up since I'm doing a lot of, I'm gonna probably end up in Watertown this week and back at the Japanese consulate in downtown Boston. So could someone else possibly pick them up?
I'm on that side. I mean, I'm happy to grab them and then.
Okay, and you don't need all of them. Although I would suggest that we start moving all of our materials into the space in town hall, so it's centrally available to everyone during regular town business hours.
We need them for the Pride event anyway, so I'm happy to collect them and then hold
Oh,
on to
okay.
them until after Pride and then we can house them.
Okay, so Eileen, you'll pick up signs and I'll be your first customer because mine is falling apart.
Okay.
The other thing to think about for that is, if people try to pay with cash, it's helpful to have 5s for change.
Mhm.
And the other tip is if people don't have cash, what we have done before, if you're comfortable doing it, is to be like, hey, just Venmo me and I'll then you pay the pot or something like that. But yeah, so I don't know, Eileen, if you want to also try to pick up some 5s. And it's like, you wouldn't have to actually contribute any money because whatever you put in will come back to you as well, but just to have some 5s would be helpful. Okay, any other stuff relating to the celebration? First of all, Emma and Donna and Sherry, I'm like very impressed and amazed that you've put together like such a beautiful event with like so many different things going on. It seems like overnight. It really,
It is overnight.
yeah. And I appreciate the amount of work that I know that takes to put together something that has a lot of moving parts like that.
I think all of you appreciate it because you've all been involved with events. It's just that this one was on such a short schedule, which made it extra hard.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. thank you for doing all the stuff, and we will see it on Saturday.
Okay.
And also worth commemorating that this is our first in-person event.
That's
since
right.
COVID.
That's right. That's more the reason for everyone to come for at least an hour and give your support.
Bask in the glow of an in-person event.
That's right.
Wait,
I mean, the flag,
wasn't
we
it
did have flag
month?
events. Yeah, those were outdoors though. This is like the first thing we've been able to do indoors. And Hispanic Heritage was outdoors. It was in person, but it was outdoors.
Oh, you're right. Hispanic Heritage.
We had
Month.
that beautiful moonlit night.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our second big in-person event. I was thinking about, I'm like still traumatized from MLK Day, where it ended up having to be virtual.
Well,
I keep
first
thinking.
in-person indoor event.
That's true. First in-person indoor event. Any
And
other
air
stuff?
conditioned.
I'm gonna start putting that in my Facebook posts. Any other stuff about the APAH event?
Oh, one last thing. If even at the very last minute, if you have any friends who are from any Asian or Pacific Island nation, if their families are, and they have even a half dozen items, toys, clothing, cooking utensils, a book. I mean, I've got from Maureen, I got a drum, I've got a coffee table, I've got some coasters, just different things from Pakistan. If you have any kind of items at all, I have bento boxes with that wonderful fake food they make in Japan from the consulate. Anything at all, if you know of somebody, please connect them with me because I'll reserve a table. I can get a table for them. We have 6-foot tables.
And
So
is there anything else involved with that, Sherry? Like an informational, like
if they
printout?
send me a description, I will I'll make a frame with the list of what's on your table. I will make an information page, which I've already done for Pakistan and for Malaysia, with the flag and a map and where the country is and little details. So it will be a truly informative type of event. But we don't have great representation from the western part of Asia. Countries that people often think is the Middle East is Asia. We have wonderful representation from Southeast Asia, but we could use more from the western part of Asia. Jordan, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Israel, any of those nations at all. And I'm hoping Armenia will come through. They were excited, but it's just moving very, very slowly.
Right.
Also, assure people it is cultural, not political. I had to assure some people that it was cultural, not political. So that was a particular concern with people from Turkey, Armenia, and all that. So it's strictly cultural, a celebration of culture.
Okay. Well, thank you again for all the work that the three of you have been putting in and our community volunteers.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say actually, Daniela, so it would be cool to have I'm on the hook to make the flyer for Juneteenth, which I haven't done yet, but I'm definitely going to do it before Saturday. And I know that you had volunteered to make a flyer for the Pride stuff. Do you think you can do it and get it to me by sometime so I can have it printed and bring it with me on Saturday?
Yeah, I have it on my list for me to take care of this week.
Cool. Cool. That sounds good. I think, yeah, that sounds good. Just send it to me and I can get it done.
So both of them, because there's one for the flag raising and then I'm gonna make another one for the concert as well.
Love it.
Cool.
Thank you. Let's see. And you can make I don't know. Okay, I don't want to micromanage you too much, but I recommend half sheets. If you think there's enough like space to put the info on there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like hung up on paper waste. What else? Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the flag policy, continuing saga of the Wakefield flag policy. So for anyone who hasn't been part of this conversation so far, the town of Wakefield has for the past several years raised the pride flag, and then starting last year, the Juneteenth flag and to protect themselves from like having to raise like flags of organizations that do not represent the values of Wakefield, they made this flag policy that kind of delineates who under what circumstances will the town raise a flag. The policy stated specifically that we could raise flags at the AmeriCall Civic Center. There's a flagpole there, but it's not very visible. And so I went to the town to ask if we could use other flagpoles in town instead. Then commenced a long conversation about which flagpoles and how is this going to work. And there were some concerns about raising any flag on the same flagpole as the US flag. There's a bunch of people who oppose that idea as being sort of uncouth or not an okay plan. And so there's all this conversation. And then in the midst of that happens a US Supreme Court decision, which happened a few weeks ago, in which the city of Boston had been using one of the flagpoles in front of its city hall to let community groups like raise flags. You could just like go to the city of Boston and be like, hey, can we raise our flag? And they had been raising various, like all kinds of flags for different groups. And then this one sort of like right-wing Christian wackadoo guy, I think, like asked to raise his flag and they were like, no. And then he sued them and then went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided that if a municipality is using their flagpoles to communicate government speech, like the municipality's official stance on an issue, they can fly whatever flag that they want to fly. If they are using the flagpole as a forum for public speech, where members of the public can fly flags that they want, the municipality cannot discriminate. They can't tell one group you can raise your flag and another group you can't raise your flag. And so it seems to me that the town of Wakefield, the town council, Tom Mullen, the lawyer, recommended to the town council, the body of people who controls the town, that he rewrite the flag policy to state that all the flagpoles in Wakefield under municipal control are for official government speech. And so the town would still be able to raise flags like the Pride flag and the Juneteenth flag, and maybe other flags that come along, as like proclamations of the town's stance on a given issue. But members of the public would not be allowed to come to the town and be like, hey, can you please raise this flag? They would like no longer honor requests like that. I think that's likely what will happen. The town council is going to be discussing this again on their next meeting, which because of Memorial Day is not going to be until like sometime in June, like early June is their next meeting, I think. So it's going to be on the agenda for that meeting, and they're going to, Tom Mullen will bring the newly drafted flag policy and they'll discuss it and vote on it. I think there was some concern about like, is it a slippery slope? Like the Pride flag and the Juneteenth flag are easy yeses. Like there's no controversy on the town council about that. But if there were other flags that the town wanted to consider raising that were perhaps less unanimously supported, are we like, there was concern of like, should this body of people be allowed to express the official sentiments of the entire town of Wakefield? And like, is that a slippery slope? And so there will likely be some discussion in the next town council meeting that we should not fly any flags other than the American flag and the POW/MIA flag, and that Wakefield would do away with flying the Pride flags or the Juneteenth flag. I find it unlikely, like it doesn't seem to me that that's a stance that's supported by a majority of the town councilors, but I think that will be part of the discussion. One last point about this long and boring topic is that the town's flag policy only counts for flagpoles that the town itself administers. It doesn't cover flagpoles that the schools administer or that the library administers. So the probably what will happen, I don't know if this will actually happen, but like what seems to be recommended is that the school administration make their own flag policy, however they're going to formulate that the baby library board of trustees makes their own flag policy, however they're going to formulate that. They all might be kind of similar. They all might be sort of different. I don't know what's going to happen with that whole situation, but so that's the flag policy as a big abstract concept is still sort of in the works. The flags that we have requested to fly are still going to be going up at the BB library, the Juneteenth flag and the pride flag. So that is unchanged, but for future years, you know, we're still not quite sure how everything's going to play out. I also got an email that the high school is going to be raising the pride flag also. Way to go, the high school. So I got an email from some parent volunteers who are involved and Principal McLeod and maybe some other people. So it seems like that's happening, although I don't have any details yet. I got an email saying like, you know, should we also have a separate flag raising event for the high school, or should we sort of combine forces, or what's the plan? So not sure what's going on with that, but that's exciting too. Any questions about the flag policy? Or comments, thoughts, impassioned speeches?
I didn't think it was going to be that complicated.
I know. Tell me about it.
That
Oh my God.
blows my mind.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, hey, can we use the town hall flagpole? Yeah, cool. Sounds good. And that was going to be it. But no. Can of worms.
I think it is sort of a nice lesson for all of us about like these kinds of things and like the additional research. Like I would never in 100 years been like, this will offend half of the town. Like I really did not think that would even happen. And I just, the idea of like, maybe we stop and do a little extra research before we present to the town council, like whether we should make a change on something. But Benny, thanks for doing all of this. I can't, I mean, it's been a lot but it's also so nice that we're flying the flag closer to the center of town, right? Like that was the message that we were hearing, that people just didn't even know that the pride flag or the Juneteenth flag were being flown at all because, you know, they were sort of hidden behind this gorgeous tree at the Civic Center. And so it's just such a nice thing that it is a little more central. And then there was one other thing. I think Tom Mullins said in the town council, like they ultimately decide like what gets flown. And if members of the community are unhappy with that, then they vote out the town council members and it kind of goes from there. So it sounded like, to your point, that they were going to rewrite the policy and come back to us next month or whatever it is. So,
yeah.
But yay, it's more central. That's ultimately what we wanted. So
it's true. Yeah, the sort of very circuitous outcome has been a good one.
And
Yeah,
am
sure.
I correct in understanding that the Supreme Court decision was just opening it up to anyone on any public flagpole, and that Wakefield is actually going to protect itself from sort of that free-for-all of anybody at all requesting it to put
Yeah,
a flag?
well, the Supreme Court decision, from the way I have not read it, I don't know how to read a like Supreme Court opinion, honestly, but from the way it's been explained to me is that they're saying that you either have to pick one or the other. Like, is it municipal speech or is it public speech? And if you decide that you're going to use your flagpole as a forum for public speech, you can't discriminate. If you decide to use your flagpole as a forum for government speech, then you can make whatever decisions that you want to make as a, you know, as a way to express the views of the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to choose one or the other.
Yeah. And so I think that, you know, the town is going to choose the government speech option, is I think the direction things are going in.
Okay.
And the problem, the reason it went to the Supreme Court is that what they found was that the city of Boston basically was using it as a platform for free speech. And then they ended up saying no to this one guy. And the Supreme Court was like, well, you can't do that.
Mhm.
So. Okay, enough on that boring topic. Let's move on to a slightly more exciting but related topic, which is the Pride Committee report back. Like I said, we are having a flag raising. There was a little bit of back and forth about the date for the flag raising. So here are the dates of our events for Pride. Or for, let's go, I'll like include Juneteenth also, just so that you have a full view of what's happening. The 1st of June, Pride flag raising on the plaza of the BB Library, rain or shine. Sad face, it is the night of prom, so none of the high school seniors are going to be there.
What time?
Oh, 6 o'clock. And we're gonna have a singer. We're gonna have a speaker who is a recent high school graduate. I think she graduated maybe last year, Olivia Dannenberg, is that right? I think so. We're gonna have a bunch of, we're gonna print up like smaller versions of like a bunch of different LGBTQIA2+ sign like flags, and have them around with little descriptions of like, this is the asexual flag, and like this is, so that's gonna be cool. Yeah, it'll be fun. So that's at 6 o'clock on the 1st at the BB. Next event in June is 6 o'clock on the 15th, which is the Juneteenth flag raising. That I'll go into the details about that, I guess, when we get to the Juneteenth agenda item, but just to have it in the lineup, that's 6 o'clock on the 15th, also on the BB Library Plaza. Next up, the afternoon of the 19th, which is Sunday the 19th at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a concert on the Common. So what better way to celebrate Father's Day than a gay pride concert? So we're having a local, actually now it's 2 local like folk musicians who are going to play a show. It's going to be nice. There's going to be like some other community involvement, like tables from like Nagley and different groups and stuff being there. Some perhaps kids things that they can do that are fun. We're going to give out candy and stickers and all the things that everybody loves. So that'll be cool. That is on the 19th, starting at 1, probably like 1 to 2:30 or something like that. And that one has a rain space, so if it's bad weather, we're going to be in the UU church. Yeah.
And did we need any extra tables or confirm if we could borrow anyone's tent?
Yeah.
for-
Jeremy,
for-
can we use your tent?
Yeah, for what day?
The 19th.
19th? I think so. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I have 2 tables that are small, but if you put them end to end, they make like a normal size table. So we'll have a HRC table there as well. And then I'm assuming the other folks are going to bring their own table. I think it's like a BYOT kind of a situation. But maybe we should communicate that to them though.
Yeah, because I think originally we were saying that we would supply the tables. We didn't know that it was gonna be like a whole permit thing. But I have a table I can bring, or 2 tables I can bring,
Me too.
so that might cover. And we can go over this in the next Pride subcommittee.
Getting late. So you know it's getting late. Yeah, so I think it'll be fun. We'll be ramping up, especially I didn't want to drown out the APAH event, so I'm hoping to ramp up publicity for that once your event is over on Saturday, and it should be good. Yeah, Yana, what's up?
I just have a quick question. So I know I asked Olivia to be part of like an event if she wanted to do anything by believe Daniela asked if she wanted to be a panelist.
Oh yeah, the panel. I forgot about the panel.
Would she be a panelist for the Pride panel, or would she like be in the flag raising event? Like, I just want to be clear with her. I don't know. I feel like I've been going back and forth for the 2 weeks, so like I don't know, I'm a bit confused. Overall, she's really interested in just to be involved in this and excited. So
Liana messaged me today and I totally forgot about the Pride flag raising and I was focused on the panel. And so, Liana, if it's helpful to you, it sounds like you gave Olivia my contact information. We could
Yeah, I
also invite her to our next subcommittee meeting and sort of talk with
Okay.
her about her interest. I don't want her to feel uncomfortable if she doesn't want to do one thing but wants to do the other.
Yeah.
So if you want to share her contact information with me, Daniela, or Benny, we can reach out to her and then we can invite her to the next meeting too and sort of talk through what makes sense.
Okay, I shared it. I believe she's gonna reach out to you soon with any
Ah,
other questions. I
Great.
feel like I'm kind of being confusing back and forth with her.
No, it's totally fine. We could take you out of the middle. It's
No,
no
no,
fun.
no. It's okay. I just didn't know if she was being part of the panelists or the event. But yeah, either way, she's open to both. It seems like so. That's good.
That's great.
Just for the record, when is this panel going to take place and where?
Yeah, Eileen or Daniela, do you want to give some details on that one?
Rock, paper, scissors. All right. So we just contacted the WCAT. We think it's June 28th, which is a Tuesday. Thinking
So
around.
it's virtual then.
It's virtual. Yep.
Okay.
Similar to what we did with IWD, Sherry.
Mhm.
And so WCAT is working on that. Hopefully we'll have 3 panelists with Daniela as the moderator, which will be awesome. And it's sort of generational. So someone in, sort of younger, someone in the older generation, and then someone in midlife, which feels like it's my generation. And so we could sort of talk through that. We are working on questions. We haven't done that yet. That's coming up. And so, yeah, if Olivia is interested in that, Yana, then obviously we want to make sure we keep her in it.
And what is the working title for this program?
I don't know that we have one yet.
Yeah, it's just the WHRC Pride panel. Or, yeah, because it's like we have the Pride flag raising, we have the Pride concert, Pride panel, and it is somewhat, we'll probably have questions that will touch upon things that Language of Diversity would have done, but the panels will never like repeatedly just be under that guise because the panels are constantly going to change to like what is currently being discussed or celebrated.
Good stuff. Any other thoughts, questions, comments about the Pride events? Alrighty. Okay, Juneteenth. So like I said a minute ago, the Juneteenth flag raising ceremony is going to be on Wednesday, the 15th of June at the BB Plaza at 6. And then the Juneteenth flag will stay up for a week, sort of encompassing the actual date of Juneteenth. They've told me at the library that the flagpole can only hold one flag at a time, which I genuinely don't understand. There must be some feature of flagpoles that is beyond my perception because that flagpole is huge. How it could not fit 2 flags, I don't understand, but I'm gonna have a meeting with the facilities person at the library sometime coming up soon, I think, to understand better what's going on with the flagpole. But
It has to do with the mechanism to raise the
I
flag.
bet.
It would have to have double
Really?
mechanisms to have 2 flags.
oh, I always just figured you clip 2 on there on the same string and then you pull it up.
So
No.
simple, right?
No, it doesn't work that way. Has to have 2 separate mechanisms for raising.
Oh, all right, well, bummer. Anyway, so we're gonna have to do the same thing that we did last year, which is we put the pride flag up and then we take it down to put the Juneteenth flag up, and then we like reverse it and put the pride flag back up for the latter part of June, but that's all right. And then, so that event is primarily being planned by the North Shore Juneteenth Association. They're supplying a singer, and our Nicole is going to be the speaker. And then there's also going to be a poetry reading, I believe. So that'll be nice. And we are not particularly on the hook for like much having to do with the planning, but I think the event will be excellent, and invite your friends. Then there's the Juneteenth. So the BSU at the high school is having a Juneteenth picnic on the 17th, which is a Friday. So it's a Friday afternoon, June 17th, 3:30. Actually, she didn't tell me where. Last year it was on the Common, so maybe it's the same. And I think Nicole is like otherwise occupied at the moment. That's why she's not at this meeting. So I texted her some questions, but she hasn't texted me back. But I asked her, if there's any support or like any way that we can be helpful. So I don't know if there is or not, but put it on your calendars. I think this is a picnic that is like open, like it was last year. It was like open, people could attend if they wanted to. So.
Do they have a program, or is it just bring your own brown paper bag, or?
I know nothing other than her text said June 17th, 3:30, BSU doing Juneteenth picnic. So that is the total of the details that I have, but hopefully we'll get some more details and we can send it around. Let's see, so that's Juneteenth. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is a long meeting. Okay, the last kind of big thing that requires some attention, I think, from us is the proclamation of acceptance and openness. I'm not 100% sure what the status of this is. So this is something that was written like collaboratively by the HRC, the town council, and the school committee in 2018. I think it was 2018 or 19. Stating, like basically hate has no home here. Like this is a place where we accept and celebrate people. We will not tolerate like hateful acts and that kind of stuff. And then it was officially adopted by all three of those bodies. Then in 2021, the town council updated the language and voted just among themselves, like to reaffirm this, this proclamation. So now there's kind of like two versions of it floating around. And one of them, the one that was done in 2021, is a little bit more specific. Like it speaks about the shootings in Atlanta, of the like AAPI that was like in a salon, the shootings. And it speaks about the White Lives Matter rally that was by the lake. So it's like a couple of specific historical events that are referenced in it. And so I brought this up after our last meeting. I contacted the chair of the town council and the chair of the school committee to say like, hey, would we all be interested in reaffirming this proclamation? And the school committee spoke about it in their meeting a couple meetings ago. And there was support for doing that. And the piece of feedback that came up was that because it had, what they suggested was every year at the beginning of the term, like in this meeting, like the May meeting, basically, to reaffirm that statement so that the new school committee members who are elected each year are like beginning their term with this like joint like affirmation of these values. So I thought that was cool. And so the piece of feedback that came up related to that was it might be nice for it to be a more generic language rather than referencing these specific events that took place in 2021. So I offered to revise the language slightly and then send it back around to the three bodies to be approved. So I revised the language. I sent it to town council, but they did not put it on the agenda or vote on it. So I'm not sure what the status with that is. I can reach out to Anne to try to find out what's going on with the town council on that topic. But in any event, so far the town council has not taken it up. And I have, yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
No, I'll wait till you finish. Right after you finish, I want to say something.
Yeah, and then the school committee, I also haven't like touch base with Tom Markham yet about like what's going on with that. So I actually don't know where this whole effort lies, but I figured we might as well see if we want to adopt the updated language. And then I don't know, the other bodies can do what they're going to do. Yeah, Sherry.
So I don't know if any of the rest of you were at town meeting or watching it on WCAT, but they read the affirmation at the beginning, and I got to tell you, it's a clunker. It really needs to be streamlined. All the sentiments are there, but there's just too much extraneous information that will be out of date tomorrow.
Mhm.
So it needs to be a much more general statement of philosophy and sentiment and commitment than it is right now. And it just, they've loaded it up with way too much, and it just is clunky, really clunky and painful to listen to at times. Because there's just too much in it. And it becomes redundant and you stop listening.
Yeah, so what I did was I went back to the original statement and like basically use that. So if we want to change it, I think we can. Now I have to find where I put it. I put it in the email that I sent out to everybody. Did people have a chance to read it? If not, I can read it right now.
I did read it, and I didn't catch anything that felt like it could have been taken out because it was repetitive. So if you do read it out loud, I think that's where maybe we can like take note to be like, okay, maybe that can be cut out or rephrased. The only thing is like, the first two paragraphs list discrimination based upon then a list, and that's the thing that I'm wondering, Sherry, is that what you're referencing, or
No,
there's
the
other-
one I heard at the town council meeting was referencing historical events, one after, and there's too much stuff. And also doing laundry list. It was like a laundry list kind of approach. It was just, I think it could be said more eloquently and more succinctly.
Yeah, so
And
let me
still
read
have
this.
those sentiments.
Let me read this one, which still is a laundry list. Like, I don't know that this addresses the concern that you're raising, Sherry, but this is it's closer to the original language, that the one that Pina had written like 3 or 4 years ago. Or I don't know, Pina wrote it or Rich might have written it. Anyway, it says, a proclamation of acceptance and openness among all our citizens. Whereas the town of Wakefield's policies, procedures, and practices are intended to prohibit discrimination based on race, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, disability, age, religion, veteran status, uniformed military service, sexual orientation, genetic information, pregnancy, marital status, gender identity, or any other classification protected by law. And whereas it is also the policy of the Wakefield Public Schools to prevent harassment and discrimination based on race, color, sex, age, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, national origin, limited English proficiency, disability, or housing status. And whereas Wakefield and surrounding communities have experienced multiple incidents of hate speech and vandalism in recent years. And whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have identified racism as a serious public health threat that directly affects the well-being of millions of Americans. And therefore, be it resolved that the town of Wakefield, through the elected and appointed members of the school committee, town council, and human rights commission, stands firmly with the residents, students, parents, and educators of our community and neighboring communities to reaffirm our message that hate has no home here. These bodies further condemn all incidents of hate speech and violence motivated by systemic oppression in Wakefield and across the country, and declares their intention to adopt policies and practices that reaffirm Wakefield's place as a welcoming community that values diversity and inclusion. Be it further resolved as duly voted by each public body, that this resolution be shared with school and municipal leaders in Wakefield and across the region to strengthen our collective fight against racism, anti-Semitism, institutional bias, and all forms of discrimination. So that is what it says.
That is so much better than what you read the other night. But it's still, I have to tell you, when you said as protected by law, red flags went up for me with what's going on right now with the Supreme Court. Because you wonder, could we lose some of those protections? I know we live in Massachusetts, but it's just, even a phrase like that, you wonder if it's going to be relevant in a year. It's really difficult. I hope it is, because we live in Massachusetts, but nationally it may not be.
Dark but true.
I know. We have our work cut out for ourselves.
Now, could we take out that part because the Wakefield Public Schools prevent blank blank includes limited English proficiency or housing status, and that is not in the previous paragraph, and then kind of an amendment to the therefore section and say adopt policies and practices that reaffirm Wakefield's place as a welcoming community that values diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So that way it sort of like reaffirms that just in case the law does change, we have equity in there, belonging. That's just like a really core value, I think, that the community cares for. It's usually like assumed in DE and I, but doing that extra mile of belonging. And then the only other thing that I thought we could cut just to simplify is in that same paragraph when we say that we stand firmly with the residents, students, parents, and educators of our community and neighboring communities. If we just say residents and maybe educators, because I don't know if educators technically live in Wakefield, but I would assume that the students do, unless that allows for the vogue, right? Because the vogue.
Well, and also the
Medco.
students.
Okay, then yeah.
Plus, not all municipal workers, I think unlike Boston, I don't think all municipal workers are required to live physically in Wakefield. I might be wrong. I know in Boston you're supposed to, because I used to rent from a fireman, but I'm not sure in Wakefield if that's the rule. So, it's also people employed by who work within the town, and shopkeepers. I mean, everyone who is involved with the business of the community, we could say, the business and operation and maintenance of the community.
Yeah, that's a good.
That would take in all those different people who may not live right here.
Can I ask a question before we go any further?
Mhm.
Is the point here, like, we're making edits and we would vote on these edits, but at some point, Benny, is the town council going to rewrite all of this? And so, like, I'd hate for us to spend time rewriting all of this if we're also now going to have another letter that we're going to share with the town council and the superintendent's office, you know what I mean? Or the school committee,
Yeah.
rather. Like, will we have to read? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
I
are we
do.
like,
Yeah, this is what happened the first time around, is that it went through this round of edits that was like interminable, because the town council would look at it and be like, let's make these changes. And so that version would have to go around to the three bodies. And then the school committee would be like, oh, this is pretty good, but let's make these changes. And then that version would have to go around to all three bodies. It was pretty aggravating. So yeah, I don't really know. There may be ways to do that. I'm not sure if there's ways to avoid that problem, but that's certainly a risk of trying to have the same document signed by all three. It does become complicated.
and then I guess my other question is, for the sake of time, I turn into a pumpkin soon. And so if we can think about, like, is there a way for us to do a subcommittee that just works on this document to then partner with the town council and the school committee. And then that person or that group can sort of come back to us to talk through what those edits are versus, not that I don't love a good edit session, but for us to do it at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, I just feel like if we like dedicated ourselves an hour on another day to just log out, you know what I mean? Just work on this. I just feel like we'd be more successful. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is
And
that right?
three people instead of 10 or 12 would probably
Totally.
work more efficiently, much more efficiently.
Yeah. And there may also be like, so I asked Maureen when she brought up the idea of reading, she texted me or emailed me and was like, hey, we've printed the proclamation on the back of all the packets. That's what at town meeting yesterday, there's like the packet that has all the warrant articles, and then the back page of it was that proclamation. And I was like, hey, cool. She was like, do you want to read it with me and the school committee chair? And I said yes. And then I was like, which version are we talking about here? And it was the 2021 version. And so I asked her, I was like, are you still planning to bring that updated language to the town council to vote on? And she said something that made me think that the answer possibly is no. But then I haven't been able to touch base with her since then. She said something like, maybe she wants to look at it a later time. I'm not sure what the plan is. So it's possible that there's like not an appetite to really be revisiting this document right now. I haven't, like at first it seemed like there was, the school committee seemed like pretty excited about it. The town council, I haven't had really like much of a conversation to find out what their feelings are. So let's feel it out with what the actual desires of those bodies are, and try to, who would be interested in helping to draft that if it turns out there is a like need for that. I see Sherry.
Daniela probably with her DER background.
Yeah. And I'm happy to be involved since I've sort of already started the ball rolling on this.
Okay.
So maybe the three of us can figure something out. Cool.
Okay.
And I don't think it has to be like a subcommittee. I think it can just be like, we can have a meeting to try to figure it out.
A task force.
There you go. Okay. Any other thoughts or anything about that? Cool. Jana, you have any updates from the youth council?
Not many right now. We're just doing we're getting new people, and we're doing applications for that. People applying, so we're in the middle of that, and then soon we'll do interviews. But Sherry, I know that you sent me that flyer for the API thing, and I sent that over to the people that run our social media. So hopefully they get that posted soon.
I did send it to all the principals and the PTO people as well, and hope, you know, they will distribute it among the schools as well.
All right.
Air conditioning on a hot day. Remember.
Selling it, Sherry, selling it. When do the new, when do those new appointments happen? Do you know, Jana?
I believe the deadline is May 20th, and then we're gonna start interviews. The people that are already on it just have to reapply, but I believe they already have a spot. And then we'll set up interviews, and then I think everything ends at like the new term starts after June. So that's
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm off on June 30th.
Let's see, Steve's not here to give us any school committee updates. Sherry, do you want to give us is there a financial update?
Only just reminding everybody who's working on an initiative to please keep financial records. I've already told you we have $1,177 in the revolving fund and $1,000. They fixed the accounts, so we ended last year not in deficit at zero, but we used up all the money. So we use up the whole $1,000, then we move into the other money as needed. And I will talk to Daniela a little bit more about, you know, going forward, getting better control on things.
Fantastic. Love that plan. Any matters not anticipated? Actually, I have a question related to matters not anticipated, which is, Emanuela, is this your last meeting with us?
I think it's either this month or next month. Yeah, it's coming to an end because I'll be out of school, which is really sad. But it was great working with everyone, and thank you for the opportunity.
Emma, it's been awesome. I was thrilled to have you with us and participating in our various subcommittee planning meetings.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I remember the first meeting where Emma snuck out on break into her car to join us. So thank you, Emma. For
yeah, that's
everything.
commitment when you
Yes.
use your break to join a boring ass committee meeting. Yeah, and good luck. Do you know anything about what your plans are for next year?
I'm gonna be studying in Vancouver at the University of British Columbia, and I think I'm doing economics and public relations, which is really exciting.
That's fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'll
Congrats.
help with the community around there, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And Yana's off to college as well.
Yeah, Yana, where are you headed?
I'm going to Westfield State University for art education.
Oh, speaking of which, everybody, I went to the grant recipients reception for everybody who got a Wakefield Arts Council grant, because we got the Arts Council grant for the Pride concert, and they held the reception at the Albion Cultural Exchange, which currently contains a bunch of artwork made by Yana Herzog, and you should check it out.
Thank
I
you.
loved it. I was like wandering around being like, where's Yana's stuff? Where's Yana's stuff? And I love those multimedia ones that you did. There's a lot of like texture and like different materials and stuff. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, the art show in there is amazing. Anybody, if you're like walking around downtown, you should check it out because it's like it's the AP art class gallery like show. So, and Yana, you'll be with us next month as well, you think?
Yeah, I think I have one more with you as well.
Okay, great. Well, okay, any other matters not anticipated? Great. Sherry, do you want to go over the action list?
Okay, let me make sense here. Well, we spent a lot of time on the election, and that doesn't have any action items. Let's
Well, I
see.
will. I'm going to reach out to, I guess, Sherry, both you and Eileen. Maybe I'll like we can find a meeting. I didn't actually make this an action item, but it is one, which is we should find a time to meet, and I can kind of do a download for you both about the various.
Okay, so action item is preparation of new officers. I'll make sure that I write that up. Okay. Let's see, Daniela is going to serve as the co-administrator of Facebook with Benny, and that's going to just be no immediate action item, but I'm actually going to send both of you all of those posts that I put together for APAH again tomorrow. Let's see, minutes were approved.
I think there is an action item in the sense that I kind of need access
Oh,
to the account.
good point. Benny to provide Daniela with account access. Okay. Minutes were approved. Whoops. The action item for APAH was a whole list of people who are going, I'm going to write this in the minutes, and I will indicate that Eileen is going to be there from 1 to 2. She's going to pick up the signs and some $5 bills. Benny from 1:30 to 3, Jeremy from 3 to 4. Emma's going to be there as a committee member, thank you, hosting Jeopardy all afternoon. Teresa's going to help with the setup. And I also just made a request, if any of you has a friend who has Asian or Pacific Islander heritage, please ask if they have items they're willing to lend us to display, and we'll feature their nationality, their heritage, and their family. Okay, the flag policy is still up in the air, but we have finality on all of our events relative to flag raising and pride, so there's those are all action items. They're already determined. And let's see. Eileen and Daniela are finalizing details for the virtual panel discussion on June 28th. Juneteenth is pretty much being taken care of by North Shore Juneteenth Association. None of us have any action items other than to attend and support it. Action item, we formed a task force of Benny, Danielle, and Sherry to review the proclamation of acceptance and openness for future presentation to other bodies. And not an action item, but it was action. We expressed our appreciation to Emma and to Yana and wish them great luck in their future careers. And Yana, you said Western State University?
Yeah, Westfield.
Westfield, okay. And you're majoring in art, I take it?
Yeah, education. Yep.
Okay. Best wishes to you. And I hope to see everybody and the people who are not here as well. I'm going to reach out to them on Saturday.
Well, wonderful. Okay. With all of that taken care of, would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn. Please.
Yeah. All right. So, Teresa, how do you vote on that?
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Daniela,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes, go Celtics.
Donna,
Yes.
Emma.
Yes.
Oh my God, thank goodness. Thank you, everyone.